Marcus was 31 years old. It was almost midnight. He was sitting on the edge of his bed with his phone in his hand. He had opened his banking app not because he wanted to, but because an unexpected charge had come through, a dental bill for $340 that he thought insurance would cover. But when he opened the app, something made him pause, and he started scrolling up, then kept scrolling. And what he saw sitting there in the quiet dark of his room was this: checking account $1,104, savings account $2,280. After 4 full years of telling himself he was building something, credit card balance $6,800 accumulated not from any single crisis but from the slow, invisible drift of life. A flight here, a dinner there, a month where everything happened at once and the card became the answer. And his 401k showing $11,300, which for someone who had been working since 23 meant he had contributed less than $1,400 per year on average, despite his company offering a 3% match that he had never fully captured. And the feeling that settled over him in that moment was not panic, it was not dramatic, it was something quieter and in many ways worse. It was the feeling of a person who has been moving for years and suddenly realizes with total clarity that they have not been going anywhere, that the effort was real, the exhaustion was real, the intentions were always real, but the result was almost nothing. And he put the phone face down on the mattress and stared at the ceiling. And if that feeling is familiar to you, not the exact numbers but that specific quiet wait, then what I am about to share is for you, because Marcus did not have a motivation problem, he did not have a discipline problem, he did not even have an income problem at $68,000 a year. What he had was a structural problem, and here is what most financial content will never tell you because it does not make for exciting thumbnails. The reason most people feel financially stuck is not because they spend too much on luxuries. It is not because they lack ambition. It is because they have never built a financial structure. They have made individual decisions in isolation, savings over here, debt over there, a retirement account untouched for 2 years, spending that happens reactively, and no clear order of operations telling them what comes first and what comes next. And without that order, without that architecture, even good decisions do not compound into outcomes. They just exist in parallel, disconnected, like having all the right ingredients on a counter and wondering why dinner is not cooking itself. And this is where the concept of a financial reset becomes the most important idea you will encounter today. Not a budget overhaul, not a restriction plan, not a motivational framework, but a structured sequence of 5 steps built in the right order that begins generating outcomes quietly in the background while your life continues. And before we build that structure, we have to understand the 3 invisible leaks that are draining pressure from the system right now. The first is inflation theft. With inflation running at approximately 3.4% annually and the average traditional savings account paying between 0.01% and 0.5% interest, the money sitting in a standard bank account is not standing still, it is moving backward every single day, losing purchasing power silently, and Dalbar research shows that the average investor underperforms the market by more than 4% annually, not because of bad stock picks but because of behavioral drift, sitting in cash, reacting to fear, having no system. The second invisible leak is debt interest compounding against you. The average credit card interest rate in the United States is currently around 21.5%, which means Marcus's $6,800 balance will cost him approximately $4,200 in interest if he makes only minimum payments. And here is the behavioral finance truth that most people miss. Paying off a 21.5% interest debt is mathematically equivalent to finding an investment that returns 21.5% per year with zero risk. And that investment simply does not exist anywhere in the financial world. The third leak is the most expensive oversight of all. It is the missed employer match. Financial Engine's research shows that the average American leaves approximately $1,336 per year in uncaptured employer match. And when you compound that over 30 years at 7% annual growth, it represents over $130,000 in foregone wealth, not from bad investments, not from market crashes, simply from not pressing a button. And now I want you to feel the geometry of compounding, because the definition is not enough. Marcus is 31. He has 34 years until retirement. In scenario A, he continues as he is saving roughly $50 per month with no structure. At 65, he has approximately $89,000. In scenario B, after his reset, he contributes $400 per month into a tax-advantaged index fund account averaging 7% annually. At 65, he has $714,000. The difference is not $350 per month multiplied by 34 years, which would be $142,800. The difference is $625,000, and that $625,000 was not earned from income. It was generated entirely by structure and time. Warren Buffett has said repeatedly that the single most important variable in wealth building is not intelligence, not access, not picking the right stocks, it is time in the market, and Charlie Munger said it plainly.